Hi guys, welcome to the workshop again. Today I want to talk about power meters and about one power meter specifically, which is my Quarq DZero, which is the newest model from Quarq. I have two of these units, which I have been using since last November, so roughly half a year, and a lot of riding on them. And I also want to share you some experiences from choosing my power meter in the first place and the current power meter status on the market. So before the Quarq, I have been using a Shimano system with a stages power meter, which is a left only option, and at that time it was probably the most budget friendly option, and I think there has been a slight price drop from stages recently, but I don't think it's a good value option anymore, and I'm going to explain why. So I'm going to talk about prices a bit. So this Quarq power meter costs 929 euros, probably the same in most Western currencies, with a complete red crankset attached to it. And if you look at some other power meters of the similar category, I think you're always better off with a spider-based option, because then, well, it houses the electronics better, it gives you more accurate readings in my opinion, you've got a more controlled way of strain there, whereas on crank arms it's usually a bit more complicated and things could go wrong. And then there are pedal-based power meters, which are not really where they should be at this day and age, I think. So let's just start with the stages and other left only options, such as 4i and rotor power, I think, or InPower, not swim power. So these options are only 100 to 200 euros cheaper than a complete full-on SRAM red crankset attached to a D0 power meter spider. So that's not really a good value, because you still have to have your own crank. It might be a good option if you already have, let's say, a Shimano crankset and you don't want a different one. So you just attach the stages to it, but it will only ever be a left only power meter with its limitations, which I found that are a few. First, you don't know what power you're really putting out, because you're only measuring your left leg, and then it's also quite laggy and slow in terms of displaying your actual data. At least it has been for with my Garmin. And then, well, you don't have a separate crankset, so if you sell a bike, you need to get a different power meter if it has a different crankset, so that's not really a good option. Then if you look at other spider-based power meters, the SRM is 3 times as expensive and does nothing really better. It doesn't have Bluetooth compatibility, it doesn't have automatic calibration, it doesn't have user serviceable battery, so that's not really a 2017 option. But then you have the new Power to Max NG, I think, which is almost 1,000 euros just for the spider with no cranks. So that's again a lot worse in value, with a lot more money for no real increase in performance. And you also have the rotor power meter, the twin power, with its strain gauges housed in the crank arms, but that's really I think around 200 or 300 euros more expensive than the Quarq again, with no real gain. Of course you do get independent left-right measurement, but I don't think it really matters, because if you have a slight discrepancy, then it doesn't matter, and if you have a big one, then you've got a problem and your power meter can't solve it. So complete power measurement is what's important. You want to have the repeatability and the precision in your total power numbers. Then some other options, Pioneer, that's quite an outdated system, also really expensive. What else? Yeah, so these are pretty much all the competitors I can think of now, and all that I have looked at, because I could have bought any of these, but I decided to go for the Quarq, for the new Quarq. It's also seen a price drop from the previous version, so that's another good thing. Yeah, if you want a really excellent value option, even better than this, then just go for the aluminum cranks, and you probably have the most reliable and precise and user-friendly power meter with an excellent value as well. So how has been the DZero so far? As I said, I have been using it from December throughout the winter, and it held up really well against all the environmental aspects: rain, mud, snow, everything, washing all the time. There hasn't been a single instance of water ingress, so that's excellent. Not really that true for the stages. Then in terms of battery life, I have just checked it with my Colvin app, which is excellent now. It wasn't before, but it works in its latest iterations, and it actually shows 45% battery. So this year I have covered more than 4,000 kilometers on it, plus the riding in December, so I think at least 200 hours of riding on there and still going strong. That's another good point. Not like the batteries were expensive or anything, it's just, yeah, it's a bit comfortable if you don't have to change them too often. Then in terms of the power readings, they're super quick, respond very well to sprints, to short efforts, burst efforts. What I found is in winter is that since it's a whole massive aluminum unit, it takes a bit more time to cool down to the ambient temperatures, so it starts reading correctly. But that's not really anything you can do about, not really a fault of the design. The stages is a bit quicker to react to that, but it also suffered. So it's a good idea to leave the bike for a couple of minutes before you set off to leave it outside. But now, in summer when it's warm, the readings are correct as soon as you get off. I also really like the option to zero offset the power meter with just backpedaling 5 times. You also get a really nice control LED, so you always know what you're doing. It shows different colors when you are starting off, when you have calibrated, when you are connected to your Bluetooth, and so on. Really nice set of information. And I think another good quality of the Quarq is that it's quite widely compatible, so you can just buy the Spider for specialized cranks or for the Quarq specific 8-bolt fit, and quite a lot of cranks these days have that 8-bolt fit, so basically all new SRAM cranks, and they also make designs specifically for Shimano cranks, which is the D4, and you get basically a narrow or a small diameter spindle, which is the GXP, and you get an oversized spindle, the BB30, and with these two you can basically fit any frame you want, so compatibility is there as well. So the performance is very good. I think it's amongst the best from spider-based parameters, but overall from all systems as well. Reliability so far has been perfect. I've had one minor problem where my Bluetooth transmitter hasn't been turned on at the factory, but this is only true for the earliest models. But the technical service from Quarq has been excellent. They responded to my email immediately and helped me resolve the issue. It was a 5-minute job, so that's another good thing, customer support you're getting. And then of course the value of this product, I think it's immense if you consider that, well, stages for Dura-Ace crank only costs around 150 euros less, and a stages for a SRAM red crank, or well, any SRAM carbon crank, costs pretty much as much as the complete full fat total power output measuring device you're getting here. So yeah, that's my Quarq DZero per meter long-term review and my experiences with it. I hope it has been helpful, and if you want to see more content, honest reviews on high-end cycling stuff, then don't forget to tune into my channel and subscribe. It's all for today. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.